Hey, what's up, you borscht-blooded, cabbage-headed sequels! In a world where originality doesn't exist anymore. And while it is possible to make a really great sequel that not only does the source material justice, but also adds exciting elements that attach yourself even further to the story and the world that's presented, more often than not, those sequels rarely live up to the original glory. For example, as you can see, I am wearing my Halifax Highlander jersey from the movie Goon, which is one of my favorite comedy movies of all time. Hey, two rules, man.
Stay away from my fucking Percocets. And do you have any fucking Percocets, man? Alright.
But sadly, the sequel, while still funny at parts, definitely did not live up to the original movie. So that said, for today's video, we'll be going over my personal list of the top 10 worst sequels ever made. Also, a huge shout out to the sponsor of this video. Hello, hey there, what's poppin', you soggy muffin top? It's Red Onesie wearing Destery, and I'm here to tell you all about Atlas VPN. And you know you can trust me because this graphic right here says you can. Wow, would you look at that? And I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, Destery, why do people think a video of a dancing stick bug is so damn funny? I have no idea, but what I do know is how to get some wicked tight savings on the freshest VPN on the flippin' market. And you may be asking yourself, what in the mummified dog turd is a VPN? Well, I'm so glad you asked. A VPN stands for Virtual Private Network. It extends a private network across the public network and enables you to get that boring nonsense out of here. A VPN is the letter V followed by P and N, but more importantly, protects yourself on the internet and all that super spicy data that I know you have that's locked away behind a folder that says definitely not anime babes in bikinis. How did you know about that? Well, cause you don't have Atlas VPN now, do you? Gonna bonk you for being so stupid. The way I like to look at a VPN is like a condom for your internet. You might not think you need protection until you have a really disappointing son named Ronnie and a secret family that you have to pay child support to. But a VPN hides all your internet data so the piercing prying eyes of your ISP are like, whoa, where'd they go? Not to mention being able to set your location to anywhere in the world with a click of a button. Unlocking region-specific content as though you just light speed traveled to frickin' Kyoto. So what are you waiting for? My pizza rolls, they're almost done. With availability on unlimited devices for only $1.99 a month, you'd have to be a cotton-headed ninny muggins not to pounce on just a tantalizing deal. That's right, tantalizing. So make sure to click the link in the description down below before this sexually attractive deal expires and get Atlas VPN today. It helps you, it helps the channel, and more importantly, it helps me pay child support payments to my really disappointing son Ronnie and my secret family. So yes, check it out, Atlas VPN, description down below. Big thanks to them sponsoring this. Now on with the video. And also, really quick disclaimer, these are just my personal opinions, so please don't attack me in the comments if your opinion is different than mine. Okay, thank God I am in this neutral World of Warcraft tavern, because you guys can't attack me in here. Now on to the list, number 10, Magic Mike XXL. I don't even know what I could say about Magic Mike XXL. I mean, for one, the dongs are just way less impressive. Oh, what is this? You call that a dong? Dude, get out of here with that little nonsense. I'm totally joking, that's not on the list. Thank God, Destry. I thought I was gonna have to hear about Channing Tatum's dong for the next 5 minutes. Actually, at number 10 on the list is Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. Believe you me, it pains me to put any Harry Potter movie on this list, but it cannot be ignored how much I fucking hate this movie. And first, let me say that there are some redeeming qualities about this movie. Like, I still watch it every time I'm doing a Harry Potter marathon, but my God. So let me actually rewind a little bit to the 90s when there really wasn't any like video games, streaming services, like none of this cool shit that you guys have now. There were like 3 Flash games on the internet total, and the hottest video game on your Windows 95 was Chip's Challenge, and that weird downhill skiing simulator thing where a Yeti came and ate you. That shit was dope. So back in this era, there wasn't a lot of shit to do. I mean, honestly, it was between throwing rocks at a lake near a guy's house that you were convinced was a monster and had monster teeth, or reading. And seeing as how we've already thrown like 85 rocks at this dude's house, the only option we had left was reading. So during this time, I read through all of the Harry Potter books, which was a wondrous time, and you know, this was before the era where J.K. Rowling tweeted shit like this. Why? So yeah, seeing as how I've read all the Harry Potter books, like I have my own qualms as to things that I would change pretty much in all of the movies, but I don't want to be one of those dickholes that's just like, oh, the books were better and here's why. Because honestly, here's how thick the first book was and here's how thick the fucking 4th book was. So, you know, it's no wonder that they're not able to fit all of this into a like 120-minute movie. But my problem is that in lieu of the important shit that they decided for some reason to take out of the movie, let's just have a dumbass scene of this terrible band playing for minutes on end.
Spin around like a crazy elf, dancing by himself.
It hurts. Also, if you can believe it, that scene was supposed to be even longer. Seriously, there's an extended version in the deleted scenes where they say this.
Shake your booty like a boggart in pain. Get it on like an angry spectre.
Like, no offense to whoever's dad's band this is that ruined this scene for me, but it's just not good. Okay, what other problems did I have with this movie? You know, I'll say it again. Instead of having important scenes or important characters, let's have a little scene of Hagrid grabbing some ass.
Hey, you know it's really funny that kids will just get a hoot out of Hagrid grabbing some butthole. Oh my god, Tom, that is the funniest thing ever.
No, stop it. At this point in the cinematic universe of Harry Potter, Hagrid is like our uncle or like our dad. We don't want to see our dad trying to clap some lady's cheeks, man. Also, this is the first of the Harry Potter movies that actually introduced what the Death Eaters look like, and also our introduction to actually seeing Voldemort for the first time. And you know, when it comes to Voldemort, I don't really have any complaints about that. I think Ralph Fiennes did a fantastic job of looking like a no-nosed freak. But I remember like the first time I saw the Death Eaters and they just looked like Ku Klux Klan members wearing black hoods. Like, I just thought this looked so dumb. Like, who the hell is gonna join a fucking organization where you have to wear this shit to like praise a Dark Lord? Like, no, that would be the cutoff for me. Like, I'd be totally fine with being a dark wizard, but if anyone ever made me wear this thing, I'd say fuck off. I don't know, I just feel like I didn't have the same sense of like wonder and magic as I did with the first two Harry Potter movies. Like, the first Harry Potter will always be my favorite of the series because you're getting introduced to this world. You know, it just feels new and magical, and you're seeing the world through Harry's eyes, who has never seen any of this shit before. Holy fuck, a moving wall? Holy fuck, a goblin? Holy fuck, an owl? Holy fuck, a broom! There is legitimately a scene in this movie where everyone is just staring at a broom. And every time I see that scene, I get these weird butterflies in my stomach that makes me feel like this is a world of magic. Like, this isn't just a broom. This is the new Nimbus 2000, the fastest model yet. So yeah, I just feel like the fourth Harry Potter in particular kind of lost that aspect about the viewing experience of Harry Potter in seeing the magic and wonder of everything. And like, what is Harry Potter if it isn't the magic and the wonder? But you know, I'm not gonna totally trash this movie. It is low on my list for a reason. You know, there are redeeming qualities about it. You know, like the fact that David Tennant is in this movie looking like just a sensual psychopath that has a fucking dry lip problem. What did I just say? Or how about the fact that Robert Pattinson is in this movie? Hey, calm down, ladies. But yeah, he's in there, you know, even if he's in there for only a brief second before, my boy! That's my boy! But overall, definitely my least favorite movie out of all of the Harry Potter movies. Number 9, Blade Trinity. Oh man, who's ready to talk about this piece of crap? So the Blade franchise is technically a Marvel comic that was turned into a trilogy of movies. The first movie came out in 1998 and features Wesley Snipes as he plays a character named Blade, who is a vampire or a daywalker who kills other vampires. The second movie came out in 2002 and honestly was my favorite out of the three. But in 2004 came Blade Trinity, a movie so bad it is the only DVD that after watching I took out of my DVD player, brought it onto my back porch, smashed it with a hammer, and called it an abomination. True story. And criticisms aside of me having several videos on my channel of me publicly freaking out on things, this is not that, okay? This movie is that bad. A movie so bad that even the director has condemned this movie and said that it should never have been made, as apparently tensions behind the scenes on this movie were so high that Wesley Snipes only communicated to people with sticky notes and only came out of his trailer to film close-ups, and that's it. So yeah, there are a million reasons why this movie is not good. And you know what? Let's make it easy and start with the very first minute of the movie with the intro. So you know the incredibly sick intro from Blade 1 where Blade just kills a bunch of vampires in a rave while Confusion by New Order plays in the background? Yeah, that shit was sick, right? Well, you know what makes an even cooler intro? An interview where a guy talks about vampires and their sexual urges.
Yeah.
Sexual sadism.
Sexual.
Okay.
Sexual sadism.
Oh, interesting. The fuck is this, Twilight? You know what? No, Twilight wasn't even out yet, so they have literally no excuse to do this.
You know, I know Blade has always been about sick action scenes, but we really want to get all those suburban house moms in on the fucking craze too. We're gonna make sure that we start this movie off with a bang, and by bang I mean we talk about fucking vampire dicks. That way all the suburban house moms just spread their heckin' legs.
Hashtag not my Blade. It's just the worst. And you know, the thing about Blade is that Blade's only ever been even as good as the bad guy. You know, so in the first movie, we have Deacon Frost, who is just, you know, a typical techno-listening douchehole with one of the raddest beds I've ever seen. I'm not gay, but I'd probably let Deacon Frost power bottom me, not gonna lie. The second movie, Jared Nomak, aka Luke Goss, who again, not gay, but I would probably let him propose to me and spend a happy life together. But yeah, he's just a fucking badass vampire mutant with a sick coat and a face pussy who likes to say the word obiashi. But in Blade 3, the main bad guy looks like an Abercrombie model who was rejected because he looks like he's too nice. I'm sorry, but this guy is supposed to be Dracula. No. So yeah, I think if I was to really boil down my frustrations with this movie, it really comes down to just the writing of the entire script. Because yeah, as I mentioned, first fucking minute of the movie is them sexually talking about vampires. Oh, what's that? Oh, you're wondering if that's the only time in the movie that it says that? I'm so glad you asked, because no, it's not. Here's 31 minutes in.
Sexual confusion. Delicious. Physical intimacy.
Can this guy stop talking sexually about vampires? Jesus Christ. And if you guys need more comparisons as to why the first two Blade movies are so much better than the third one, let's look at the supporting characters of the first two movies. We got Whistler, who is just this badass old man who makes a ton of weapons and says the word shitbird in a fucking southern accent. The second movie, we got Norman Reedus, that's right, Daryl from The Walking Dead. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm really hard of hearing today. What's that, you ask? Is Jet Li in the second movie? Yes, he fucking is. But the third movie, they decided, you know what characters we need to have in this is some comic relief. We need someone that through the entire 2 hours of this movie says dick jokes the whole time. Ooh, perfect, Ryan Reynolds. And don't get me wrong, I don't have anything against Ryan Reynolds, it's just I don't get why fucking every movie thinks that if you have Ryan Reynolds in it, it automatically makes your movie good. Pokemon, let's add Ryan Reynolds. X-Men, let's add Ryan Reynolds. So hey, you know what? Why not put him in Blade and make him say things like this?
How about you take a sugar frosted fuck off the end of my dick?
And this.
Clearly, this dog has a bigger dick than you.
And when the fuck did you see my dick, fuckface?
And this.
You cock-juggling thunder cunt!
And this.
It's not funny anymore.
No, it's not, you horse-humping bitch!
Audience goers will be like, opposite the comic relief that we get from Ryan Reynolds, we also have Jessica Biel. And again, there's nothing wrong with Jessica Biel. I mean, there's a scene that I absolutely love her in, and I now pronounce you Chuck and Larry, that I've seen probably 1 trillion times. And to all the guys out there watching this video that don't have your girlfriends around, I'm sure you know exactly which scene I'm talking about. Oh, also, random side fact about Jessica Biel in this movie, she didn't know how to shoot a bow, and her character was supposed to know archery. So long story short, she shot a $5 million camera that basically put the entire production on halt. But the main problem I have with Jessica Biel's character in this movie is that they made her intentionally, like, stupidly edgy. Oh yeah, my name's Jessica Biel, like, I'm a fucking badass, check me out, look at my muscles. There's a scene I remember vividly of Jessica Biel sitting in the back of a car and they're gearing up for like the final battle or whatever, and she pops in her fucking like iPod earbud things, and Ryan Reynolds is like, oh, don't mind her, she's just listening to her playlists. Whoa, she's hardcore, guys, watch out for her playlists. So yeah, I know that probably all of you right now don't really give a turd about what happens in this movie. I mean, I'm sitting here telling it and I don't give a shit. But basically at the end of the movie, Blade has to fight the guy who looks like his name should be like Bryce or Chad or something. That then just turns into this super underwhelming fight that looks like fresh poop. Fresh. So yeah, as someone who absolutely loves the Blade franchise and who loved the first two movies, loves the lore, loves the fact that Wesley Snipes was in it, the third movie was just a huge slap in the face. And if you are going to watch this movie, make sure that you don't watch it on DVD so that you don't run the risk of taking it out of the DVD player, smashing it, and calling it an abomination. Number 8, The Matrix Reloaded. By the tits of Gwen Stefani, I could talk about how much I love The Matrix forever. One of the first movies, if not the first movie to ever introduce color grading, which if you've seen the movie, they went absolutely nuts with, but still dope. Introduced to the world bullet time stop motion camera technology, which has been replicated and imitated 1 trillion times. Yes, that's right, Shrek did not invent that. I'm really sorry to upset you like this. And let's not forget Keanu Reeves, the man, the myth, your breathtaking legend himself. But everything from the characters and the music and the story and the animation and the technology that went into making this movie, I mean, there's really no wonder that people, including myself, wanted to see more of that world. But what we got was just the world Not good. So where to begin? Pretty much right away in the movie, you notice that there is a immediate dip in writing quality. I mean, this line I'm pretty sure is in like the first 5 minutes of the movie.
The meeting is over. Retreat to your exits.
Proceed to your exits? Who says that? Oh, and let's not forget.
Upgrades.
Upgrades. But you know, that was only in the first 5 minutes. It has to get better from there, right? Well, seeing as how a lot of the first movie took place in the Matrix, which is an artificially created simulation world that we all live in, a lot of people were curious as to what the real world looks like. And the result? Well, it turns out that the real world has a lot of cave raves where people slow motion dance with their nipples out for more than 5 minutes, with music that sounds like it's trying to seduce you. You better get used to that, because it happens a lot in this movie. Freeway chase scene. Sounds sick, right? Wrong. So how do you follow up such a breathtaking story that makes you really think about, are we living in a simulation? Like, am I real? What is happening? Well, in this movie, it turns out that the main bad guy of the first one, Mr. Smith, played by Hugo Weaving, aka Elrond with short hair and glasses, can jam his fingers into people and multiply himself at will. Non-consensually, I should add. And if you don't think that's scary, guess what else he can do? If you guess that he can make himself into a terribly animated PS2 level graphic fight scene that lasts way too long, you're absolutely correct. And apparently his duplication isn't 100% effective because who's this? Who's that? And you remember all those fantastic, hypothetical, mind-blowing questions and crazy action scenes in the first movie? Me neither. No one watches The Matrix for that. Everyone wants more long dialogue and annoying as fuck characters like the architect who uses large words like ergo and hitherto. Everyone loves that, man. No, it's just annoying as fuck. What? Come on, dog, that's hot. This guy's the hottest jalapeno popping son of a bitch in this whole movie. Keanu Reeves? Trinity? Morpheus? That big titty lady married to the French guy? I want to see more of the architect, man. Hashtag dicks out for the architect, bruh. The fuck am I talking about? But you know what? I will say that this is another one of those movies that even though I talk a lot of shit on it, I still watch from time to time. You know, there are redeeming qualities to the movie. Like the freeway chase scene, do I even need to say anything else? Also, the albino twins don't make any fucking sense, and they look terrible.
We are getting aggravated. Yes, we are.
But I can't deny, when I was younger, I was like, oh, hell yeah, brother. These guys are sick, Dutch. And also, as much shit as I can give this movie, I'm gonna say it's not nearly as bad as the last one in the franchise, which I'm just not gonna go into right now. Number 7, Spider-Man 3. Back before the MCU got Spider-Man correct, and before Andrew Garfield got it
not horrible, but not good.
Before we had seen Uncle Ben die 1,300 different times, comic book movies exploded onto the scene harder than Gwen Stacy's neck snaps in The Amazing Spider-Man 2. Could almost make a beat out of that. In the early 2000s, every movie studio wanted to dip their ding-dongs in the honey pot that was comic book movies, and quickly became a huge market after the success of 2002's Spider-Man with my man, Tobey Ugly Crier Maguire. Please stop. And its follow-up, 2004's Spider-Man 2. So when it came to making an obvious third installment, Sam Raimi, the director, thought, hey, you know, be fucking sick? Is if we shit all over the franchise by making Venom look like Venom if he had starved himself for 2 years.
Guys, I'm so hungry.
But you know what? Let's talk about what this movie got right. The Sandman animation is fucking dope. Like, look at this shit. You know what else is great about Spider-Man 3? The fucking bloopers. I can't tell you the amount of times I've died laughing at this old man who can't remember his 3 lines.
The blade that pierced his body came from your glider.
No, his spider.
The blade that pierced his body came from his trailer.
What? Why his trailer? Or how about the fact that emo Peter Parker making a face looks a lot like me doing that same face? Oh, does anyone have any toilet paper to wipe Sam Raimi's stink-ass brain? Because how could you even fathom making a Spider-Man movie without Bonesaw?
Bonesaw is ready. Catch you in the ring for 3 minutes.
Shameful. No, but for real, let's talk about the bad parts about this movie, which is everything else. How about the monotony of using the same story arcs from the first 2 movies? Oh no, someone that's connected to Uncle Ben's death, I better check that out. Oh no, Mary Jane's in trouble because apparently she's the only girl in all of New York City. Oh no, we're having relationship issues and it turns out Mary Jane really likes to cheat. Nitpicking aside, I think that the biggest gripe I have about Spider-Man 3 is just the oversaturation of villains. Like Christ, pick one and fucking focus on the character development of that one and call it good. Like Venom. Venom is the biggest travesty about that movie. And not only because the animation looks like fucking this, but also like we don't give a fucking single rat tooth about Eddie Brock or his character progression or anything of the sort because like we're too busy focusing on the 30 other plots that happen in Spider-Man 3. So this next reason is a reason that I personally don't mind, but I know that a lot of people got bent out of shape because of it, and that is emo Spider-Man. Maybe it didn't bother me as much because I do the same thing. You know, I will stroll down the street and I will constantly say, dig on this, dig on this. You know, maybe symbiote wasn't the thing that made Peter Parker into an anal bead. Maybe it was just that Peter Parker is secretly an anal bead, and it was just coming out because it was amplifying that. Or then again, you know, maybe what the symbiote does is it just turns you emo. Hey, Dr. Connor, I put on some of that symbiote, and for some reason now all of a sudden I'm listening to Bring Me the Horizon. And I do actually have like one reason why I think this movie failed, so dig on this. And that is that the writing is just atrocious. I can pick any random spot in this movie and you could bet there's gonna be some corny ass dialogue. Let's see. Boom.
I like being bad. It makes me happy.
Yep. Actually, no, the biggest sin is that he has these spike things in his fingertips. How is my man supposed to jerk his meat with these motherfuckers? Now dig on this, next one. Number 6, Twilight New Moon. You know, you might think that I'm just gonna bully this movie and all of them for how bad they are. Least of all, the animated baby. But I'll have you know, when the first movie came out, I was actually sort of interested. Like, to the point where my friend and I were actually gonna make a spoof of the movie that never happened and has haunted me for over 10 years.
I know you guys have been really patient for the Twilight spoof, and believe me, it's coming, so look forward to that. Believe me, it's coming, so look forward to that.
Yeah, that's never gonna happen. So New Moon is the second installment in the Twilight series, which was originally a book series written by Stephanie I Like to Sit at Diners in My Own Movies Myers. And like the other movies on this list, I'll do this movie a solid and list the things that it actually did right. Like, it has a fantastic soundtrack. There is no denying that it has an amazing soundtrack. I still play Rosalind by Bon Iver on repeat. The score, amazing. Taylor Lautner shirtless, yeah, that's a good thing. And it's a good thing that it's a good thing because it happens maybe 38 times in this movie. But literally everything else, disgusting! And that's saying a lot when the first movie had lines like,
No, how, I don't even know what you're saying. What are you talking about? You want me to go away? I can't, no, I can't just leave you.
You better hold on tight, Spider Monkey.
Oh, also, random side fact that I didn't know about the scene where he's up in the tree with Bella. This was filmed at the same exact, same exact location that we filmed part of the Spooky Man in, so that's pretty cool. I literally did not know that until like a week ago, so thought I would let you guys know that. So of the things that New Moon just got horribly wrong is the decision to double down on Kristen Stewart's terrible stammering acting that we loved so much in the first one.
Destery, you just don't like terrible stammering acting because you're not a 14-year-old girl.
You know what, you're right, I'm so sorry. Apparently, if you're 14, you really love stammering terrible acting. That's why I'm not more famous, because I need to do more of this. Well, I could say I'm not quite sure. Thank you. Another problem I have with this movie, if you've seen my review of Game of Thrones, you'll probably know that I love wolves. Watch Game of Thrones today! P.S. There's wolves in this show! Wolves! But man, I gotta say, the inclusion of wolves in this shit did not help at all. I was not a fan. You know, I think they should have just kept the scenes not animated so we would get awesome scenes of Bella petting Taylor Lautner on the head while he wears a gray morph suit. Yes, that is actually how they filmed those scenes, by the way. So yes, while I'm not a fan of any of the Twilight movies, really, I still put myself through constant torture every single year on my birthday by watching all of them. And I've explained this before, that the reason I do it is because they are so bad that anything else that my friends decide that they want to do on my birthday will automatically be better if my plan every year is just to watch Twilight. So yeah, I'm gonna leave this one on another scene of this animated baby. Please enjoy.
You wanna come meet her daughter?
What was that?
Number 5, Star Wars Episode 8. I just want to let you guys know that I was dangerously close to writing a review on Star Wars Episode 8 and putting it up on my channel for like 8 people to watch as I yell for probably an entire hour about how shit Rian Johnson ruined this franchise. And don't get me wrong, I don't hate Rian Johnson, okay? His work on the movie Knives Out is fantastic, and if you haven't seen that movie, definitely watch it because it's actually really good. But let's also not forget that this is the same man that's responsible for the Fly episode in Breaking Bad. Yeah, Star Wars Episode 8 is the follow-up to Star Wars Episode 7, no shit, called The Force Awakens, which acts as a sequel to the original trilogy of A New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, and The Return of the Jedi. And as much shit as Episode 7 got for being unoriginal, black masked bad guys serving a disfigured leader trying to find a Force-sensitive nobody on a planet covered in sand who gets help from Han Solo and brought to a rebellion who helps blow up a planet-killing machine while powers develop. Despite all that, I really liked it. I was excited to see what would happen in this new universe with these new characters and new story and new talented actors. But in a single movie, Star Wars Episode 8 ruined my hopes for any of that. I shit you not. Character-wise, not a single character got any decent development. And instead, we get this bitch and Rose. And again, let me reiterate, I am not attacking Kelly Marie Tran. I think it is disgraceful that people attacked her over social media to the point that she deleted all of her social media. Like, that just sucks. But Rose as a character is just shit. No, Finn, don't sacrifice yourself for the greater good. Let me slam my speeder into yours and possibly kill us both. I know you wanted to go out heroically on your own terms, but I'm gonna say no. And also, let me kiss you, even though it makes no sense. It's like Rian Johnson just read the script for The Force Awakens and said, how can I make this next movie the complete opposite? Rey, the main character, is the only constant of this movie that I actually expected. Captain Phasma, a mysterious character that deserves a pretty cool story. And oh no, she's dead. Luke Skywalker, who throughout this entire saga is just a beautifully written character. But yeah, we're just gonna have Luke try to murder his nephew because, like, you know, why not? Fuck it. And also, let's just have him throw a lightsaber off of a cliff, but then in the next movie tell Rey, hey, no, don't you throw that into the fire.
A Jedi's weapon deserves more respect.
That's funny. Oh my god, you know what's extra funny? Blue titty milk. Like, this shit was so not his character that even Mark Hamill, the actor who plays Luke Skywalker, has been incredibly vocal about the criticisms about Luke and what they did to his character.
When I read 7, I said, I love everybody's part except mine. And on this one, it was similar in the sense that I said to Rian, I'm so surprised how you see Luke.
Did your vision and Ryan's vision, did it coincide with the way that Luke ends up in this film that you thought it would all these years later?
No.
No, not at all.
No.
General Hux, aka Domhnall Gleeson, was fucking terrifying in the first movie and I loved it. So how can we make him the opposite? Oh, I know. Let's just start the movie with your mom jokes about him. Perfect. A big one for me, General Holdo. Like, no offense to the lady that played General Holdo, but you are fucking useless. Get your stupid splat-dyed purple hair out of this movie and go back to looking at fucking dinosaurs in Jurassic Park. But wait, didn't she save the fleet in one of the only visually pleasing scenes that also didn't make any fucking sense in the entire movie? Yeah, she did, but why do I care about this lady? I'll answer that. I don't, bitch. Let me ask you this. Is there a character you can think of that we already know whose sacrifice would have had emotional weight to it?
It's a trap!
Yeah, that's right. How hard would it have been to have him do that instead? Especially since he already dies anyways, or at the very least isn't seen again in the fucking movie. Christ. Supreme Leader Snoke. Why smoke when you can snoke? But seriously, I can't tell you how excited I was to know why this character is the way he is, and oh no, he's dead. Why? And even worse, let's have Kylo and Rey team up for one of the worst choreographed fight scenes in recent cinema. Oh, what's he doing? What are you doing there? Hey, what are you doing? Whoa! The fight's over here. Yep, there you go. Come on, man. Like, you couldn't have reshot that at all? The entire movie is just an incoherent mess. There are so many plot holes it hurts. It's truly amazing that J.J. Abrams, aka Jar Jar Abrams, was able to salvage what little he could in The Rise of Skywalker. But by then, the damage was already done, and honestly, even that movie kind of blows. You know what people like that'll bring this back? Emperor Palpatine and having the main character be related to someone important. People love redemption stories, so let's turn Kylo Ren good, yay! And people love when main characters fall in love, so let's do that too. God. Fuck! Let's talk about check out my square body Mr. Universe Pecs Kylo Ren. I don't know about you, but I was so excited when I saw episode 7 and just hoping that Kylo Ren was just gonna be the most evil piece of shit ever. Why? We have seen a trillion redemption stories in the history of cinema. Any movie that you can think of probably is a redemption story in one way or another. But what we rarely see is a tragedy. Imagine after the death of Han Solo that was caused at the hands of Kylo Ren, he continued to go down the path of the dark side. And through the next 2 movies, we saw the true toll and depravity of the dark side, to the point where at the end of the 3rd movie, maybe you even pity Kylo Ren. And imagine if he took off his mask after we had not seen his face since the 1st movie, and it's just fucked up. Like maybe at the end of the 3rd movie, he would want to die. And as a fully realized Rey character at the end of that 3rd movie, she can't do it. Because while in the first 2 movies she's had a bunch of rage towards this character, she is truly transformed to the light side of the Force and realized that she can't kill someone out of anger or revenge. It would have been so dope! But no. Unfortunately, the new trilogy starting with The Force Awakens, setting up all of that exciting prospects that could be, fell short in my mind with the next and last 2. Number 4, X-Men 3. Before X-Men had a million sequels, prequels, spin-offs, and any possible avenue they could use to milk this franchise dry, came the first 2 X-Men movies, which in my opinion are fantastic, and I absolutely love them. I can't tell you how hard I get at the Nightcrawler scene at the beginning of X-Men 2. But then came X-Men 3, which I wish I could say was an outlier in an otherwise fantastic universe of movies, but some of the recent movies deserve to be on this list, probably even more so than X-Men 3 does. But why I chose X-Men 3 and not those other movies is because X-Men 3 is the one that ruined the rest of them for me. Like, I wish I could get excited about a new X-Men movie, but I can't because X-Men 3 was so shitty. And like all bad movies, the problems really start in the first minute of the movie, where for some reason they decided to skin smooth Sir Ian McKellen and Sir Patrick Stewart. I don't want to say it's illegal to use Facetune on Sir Ian McKellen and Sir Patrick Stewart, but it fucking should be. Or how about this scene that makes absolutely no sense? Okay, pause. Where the fuck was Wolverine during this part? Where? Can't see him here. Was he inside of it? If so, how'd he get out? And look at the scale. He's like as tall as the head. So like, how did he come out behind it? Oh, that's not it. I really hope he says something extremely corny here that will make me never want to watch this movie again.
Class dismissed.
I hate it. Fast forward 3 minutes and Cyclops is really bummed because his girlfriend's dead as heck. Oh, but wait, JK, she was just chilling at the bottom of a lake for some reason. How long was she there? Apparently months, but you know, she just likes to hang out there. And I know one of the best aspects about watching an X-Men movie is seeing all the new cool mutants, right? Yeah, let's hear about those guys. All right, take your pick. We got a porcupine guy, scream lady, and guy who throws bone knives at you. Yeah, they don't have names, so that's the best you get. Like, where the fuck is Nightcrawler? They introduced him in X-Men 2, and then in X-Men 3, he just isn't there. Like, where is he? The writers of X-Men 3 are just like, oh my god, I completely forgot that he existed, my bad. You know what they do have in this movie, though, is a mutant that can find other mutants and can also read their power levels. Destery, power levels, what are you talking about? Yeah, X-Men 3 decided, you know what, we're gonna take a page out of Star Wars Episode 1, where everyone really hated when they introduced midichlorians, you know, the microscopic life forms that make up the Force, and we're gonna just do that same shit, but we're gonna classify mutants now as like, ooh, this bitch is a class 3. Oh my god, I've never heard of a class 5. Whoa, what the fuck is Porcupine Guy? A class 1? A class -7? Here's another reason to really hate this movie.
Don't you know who I am? I'm the Juggernaut, bitch!
Again, who wrote this shit? But hey, you know what? It can't be all bad, so let's talk about the things that are really cool in this movie, okay? Personally, I am a huge fan of Wolverine's non-disintegrating pants. Yeah, because you know, Jean Grey has the power to just destroy any matter that she wants to with her mind, and so she keeps ripping up Wolverine here, and you see that his shirt comes off, and he has a bunch of like wounds on his chest and stuff, but his pants are hanging in there, man. I don't know what kind of material those pants are made out of, but I gotta get my hands on some of them. And also, no matter how bad a movie is, if it has Ian McKellen in it, I can't really hate it. Except Cats. Here's a random side fact about the movie Cats. At one point in time, the animators actually animated buttholes on all of the cats in that movie. So Taylor Swift, Ian McKellen, all had buttholes. So I guess like the director or whoever saw this version of the movie was like, yo, why do all the cats have buttholes? And then he was like, oh, you don't want them? Like, no. It just always makes me laugh thinking about having that conversation with like an animator. Like, why are you putting buttholes on? Also gets me very intrigued to know that there is a butthole cut version of Cats out there somewhere in the world. Anyways, what especially sucks about this movie failing is that the Dark Phoenix storyline is one of everyone's favorite storyline from the comics. Mine is the Secret Wars, but that's neither here nor there. But it's like they completely fucked it up. And what's worse is like even in the new Dark Phoenix movie, it was still terrible. And people hated that movie probably even more than this one. So I guess anything related to Dark Phoenix is just never going to happen. And I'm sorry to all those Dark Phoenix lovers out there who wanted to see it happen, but looks like it ain't. Number 3, Mortal Kombat Annihilation. Sickest intro music of all time aside, this movie is absolute ass from a straw. And with as much shit as I'm gonna talk on this movie, I do still have to say this was one of my favorite movies when I was growing up. The first 2 CDs I ever owned was the Mortal Kombat soundtracks and are the things that made me want to become a music producer to begin with. No joke when I say, without the Mortal Kombat soundtracks, I may have never made music in my life. And also, let me clarify, I'm not saying that the first movie is amazing by any stretch. Like, being one of the first movies ever based off of a video game, it's still just a campy fucking bullshit excuse to capitalize on a franchise, but still, it doesn't even come close to how bad this fucking movie is. So after doing a lot of digging into the massive shit pile that was the history of this movie, every possible thing was pointing to this movie never being made. But the studio behind making the movie was the only person that was like, yes, we need to go ahead with this. The director was a DP on the first movie and had literally no experience as to how to be a director. The script had apparently been rewritten almost 4 times, and the entire thing was rushed to be completed because of studio obligations. And it's very apparent that this thing was doomed to fail in the first scene. With the just awful animation, lots of scenes where stuntmen are just waiting for their cues. Here, let me just stand over here while I'm powerless to stop this very obvious aerial kick. Oh man, I have like knives for hands and I could have just stabbed him right here, but you know what else is cool? Choking him. So I was about to tell the plot of this movie, but then I kind of realized that no one would give a shit anyways. Something about the merging of worlds and they kill Johnny Cage. Oh no. And then Scorpion steals Katana and her pointy nipples while jumping into a terribly animated portal and calling Liu Kang a sucker. Yeah, that happened. I feel like this is when like green screen first came around and they were just like, yes, let's use it in every scene. But sir, the scene doesn't need it. I don't think you heard me, Toddley. I said every scene. And despite there being a large fan base of people that actually liked the first movie, including a very 10-year-old me, a lot of the actors that played characters just didn't come back, so it also felt like a completely different movie in that regard. They recast Johnny Cage and then immediately kill him within the first 5 minutes. They recast Sonya and they recast Raiden from the guy in Highlander to the dad from the show Dexter. How did this thing fail? Especially with the likes of these new Mortal Kombat characters like Centaur Man, Red Sub-Zero, Screamy Bitch, Purple Sub-Zero, and Four-Arm Indian Gymnastics Lady. Oh, how to pick a favorite. There's just so many to choose from. I think I'm gonna have to go with this out-of-shape guy that doesn't know why he's there. They like casted extras and they tried to find a bunch of muscular guys, but no one wanted to be on this movie, so they're like, you know what, you'll do. And yes, it seems like a running theme at this point that I would say that probably the biggest problem with this movie is the actual writing of the script.
You're alive. Too bad. You will die.
But other than that, I would say that the biggest problem with this movie is, you know what, let's just watch this scene and see if you can pick up on it. What is isn't wrong with this scene? How about the fact that his eyeballs become his neck? Or how about the fact that this sound is probably just an eagle sound that they upped like 7 octaves? This sound is probably gonna hurt a lot of people's eardrums if we play it. Perfect, that's what I want. That's right, this movie is riddled with the worst effects ever. And it would just be way too easy to say, oh, you know what? This was the 90s, so excuse the heck out of me, but we're doing the best we can. But that's not even true. Jurassic Park had come out 4 years before this movie ever aired, and those dinosaurs still scare the fuck out of me. However, despite all of just the awfulness that is this movie, I still watch it anytime that I just need something fucking terrible to laugh at. It's sort of the same reason that people watch The Room. It's like, The Room is not a good movie. I know, I'm so sorry for saying that, but it's true.
I did not hit her. I did not. Oh, hi, Mark.
Like, The Room is not a good movie, but people watch it because it's fucking hilarious to watch. It's kind of the same reason that I watch this movie as well. Number 2, Son of the Mask. So The Mask was a 1994 movie starring Jim Carrey that was just such a fun, entertaining joyride that for a 90s movie made a ton of strides forward into CGI animation and what it could do. And like Mortal Kombat Annihilation, this was also one of my favorite movies when I was a kid. Like, I watched it non-stop to the point where my favorite sound to this day is a scene in the beginning of the movie where they're just shifting some rocks around underwater. Oh yeah. Don't ask me why, I don't know, okay? The Son of the Mask, however, was a sequel that was made in 2005 and stayed true to literally zero of the source material and has to be the single worst bastardization out of any intellectual property in history.
No.
So first off, we got Floop from Spy Kids who plays Loki, and I know what you're thinking. Loki, like from the MCU? Yes, so imagine what that might look like, okay? Got it? Okay, now throw that shit out, and now imagine that the Wicked Witch of the Waste had sex with Jeepers Creepers.
Finally.
3 minutes in, and you already want to die. Why Alan Cumming agreed to this movie, I have no idea. So anyways, Malibu's Most Wanted and Kumar from Harold and Kumar work together in an amusement park where they sit together and drink Sierra Mist. So at some point during the movie, the main protagonist ends up getting Loki's mask. And this next part that I'm gonna tell you is going to sound like I'm just making shit up, but I promise you this is actually what happens in the movie. So he puts on the mask and then goes home and has sex with his wife, where it shows his sperm also has the mask on, and there is the most accurate depiction of how conception works that shows that the wife gets pregnant. And even more fucked up about that scene, the dad doesn't remember doing it, so anyways, so eventually they give birth to a magical baby that can blow his head up at will, and whose first words are mother.
But come on, say dada. Dada?
Mother. Not gonna lie though, I laughed for like 5 minutes after I saw that. So then after that happens, a good portion of the movie is just a bunch of hijinks as to what the baby's getting up to since he has these magic powers.
Hello, my baby. Hello, my honey. Hello, my ragtime gal.
Why? Even if they had the technology to make this look good, I would still ask the same question. Like, I feel bad for the families of the animators responsible for this, knowing that when they apply for future jobs, they have to use this as a reference for some of their work. This movie probably put a ton of families on welfare. Now, while this movie has an atrociously low score across the internet, there are some that disagree. Like this review, 10 out of 10, an awesome sequel. Okay, I'm sorry, but whoever gave this movie a 10 out of 10 needs to be incinerated. Needs to be sent to an island to reflect on their life choices. Someone else gave it a 7 out of 10 and said, quote, "It's great for kids." Oh yeah, is it? Let's rewatch this fucking shit. Or how about a baby twisting its head all the way around? No, how about the gigantic sign saying Loki is a god in the sack? I don't know who this movie was supposed to be made for, but I can tell you that there isn't a sentient life form on this planet that thinks it's a good movie. COVID-19 thinks this movie is terrible. And finally, at number 1, Batman and Robin. A movie so bad it almost ruined the careers of everyone involved. A movie so bad, George Clooney apologized for it.
I always apologize for Batman.
A movie so bad, the director apologized for it.
If I disappointed them in any way, then I really want to apologize, because it wasn't my intention.
And this one in particular kills me because I can't tell you how much I love Batman Forever. Like, everyone hated that one, but that shit was my childhood. One of my first videos on this channel was me talking about how much I love that movie.
Batman Forever.
And one of the biggest criticisms about Joel Schumacher's Batman Forever was that they decided to add nipples to the Batsuit, which I'm not gonna defend. As much as I love that movie, that is, like, why? Maybe fucking Bruce Wayne's nipples are just really large and they needed more room. I don't know. But after that movie came out and a shitload of people like criticized why are there nipples on the Batsuit, Joel Schumacher had the chance to fix it in the next movie of Batman and Robin, but what did he decide to do? Show them more prominently in the first 5 minutes of the movie. In Joel Schumacher's brain, he was like, I don't think that the problem was putting nipples on the Batsuit. I think the problem was not showing enough of nipples on the Batsuit. One of the things that I personally loved about Batman Forever was having Tommy Lee Jones as Two-Face and also Jim Carrey as the Riddler. Their characters were just really interesting to me. I know that they seemed comic booky and weird, but that's exactly why I loved it. Because Batman is supposed to feel like a comic book world, and the world that is set up in Batman Forever feels like a comic book world. And so I loved that aspect about it. But the problem with Batman and Robin was that they went just way too overboard on that shit. Instead of making the characters feel real, they just decided, you know what, let's make a guy named Mr. Freeze who just says ice puns the whole movie.
What killed the dinosaurs? The Ice Age!
And when I say the whole movie, I don't mean like, you know, like 10 minutes in. No, the whole movie. Here's 5 minutes in.
You are not sending me to the cooler.
Here's 30 minutes in.
All right, everyone. Chill.
Here's an hour in.
Revenge is a dish best served cold.
The whole movie.
Cool party.
And as if that isn't the most ridiculous part about this movie, let's talk about the fact that for some reason, Batman and Robin have skates in their fucking shoes that are just built into it. When would that come in handy? Destery, have you watched the movie? Clearly it comes in handy right here, where they have to fight off Mr. Freeze's henchmen that are for some reason hockey players. Like, why? Also, dear God, these hockey players suck ass. What are they? The Anaheim Ducks. So anyways, the plot of this movie is apparently Mr. Freeze needs to steal diamonds because they're the only thing that can power a freeze gun that keeps his wife frozen, who has a rare disease. And at the same time, Uma Thurman lands on a bunch of plants and poison, and instead of, I don't know, dying, she comes back more physically attractive with the ability to poison people with her lips. Best yet, she has a mentally challenged henchman who has poison for blood. And at one point in the movie, Batman and Robin get so heated over how fucking smoking Uma Thurman is that they bid over her, and Batman whips out his Bat credit card.
Never leave the cave without it.
Oh my God, so fucking stupid. Even if I could forgive the ice puns and the terrible animation and the skates coming out of the bottom of the fucking shoes, the writing in this movie is just the worst out of any movie ever.
As I told Lady Freeze when I pulled her plug, this is a one-woman show.
Shut the fuck up. Oh man, okay. So I know that I've been trying to do this thing where I point out something good about these movies. This one's gonna be really hard. I remember when I was watching this as a kid, I thought the surfing through the sky scene looked really sick. And the motorcycle race, like in the middle of it, is sort of reminiscent of Batman Forever, so I really like that part about it. But other than that, man, I literally can't think of a single thing that is redeeming about this movie.
5 minutes later.
No, I've sat here for like 3 minutes trying to think of something. Just no. Anyways, guys, that is going to do it for my personal list of 10 of the worst sequels of all time. Let me know in the comments down below some of your least favorite sequels, and I will check those out. And by check those out, I mean I'm gonna look at them and be like, haha, yeah, that one sucks. And I won't actually watch the movie. Also, what do you think about the dongs in Magic Mike XXL? Let me know in the comments down below. Also, I just want to say, if you like the style of videos that I've been making recently, make sure to check out my Patreon at patreon.com/CaptainDestus. These videos require an absolute shitload of work, and I just want to thank all of my patrons who have been supporting these videos and making these things happen. Not only does it help me with the YouTube suppression algorithm, but it also helps me just fund these bigger, crazier videos. Also, if you want to support me in a different way, you can always check out the sponsor of these videos, or check out my merch at deskmerch.com. That's it, guys. Thank you for watching another one of these videos. I will see you next time, and fair winds.